chapter 1, we were referring to the endocrine system, and we were talking about endocrine glands that secrete hormones. There are exocrine glands that we're going to talk about also. The glands fit into the epithelial tissue category, and a gland is one or more cells that makes and secretes an aqueous fluid, so some sort of watery fluid. They're classified by the product that they release and the site of the product that they release. So we have endocrine or exocrine glands, like I said, and the relative number of cells forming a gland, whether they're unicellular or multicellular. Endocrine glands that are part of the endocrine system are ductless glands. And so ductless glands, instead of having a duct in which they secrete their whatever they're secreting through a duct onto a body surface, they don't have a duct. So they're just secreting their product right outside of the gland itself. And that secretion is always a hormone, because we talked about endocrine glands. The endocrine system is always hormones and glands. They secrete all kinds of different things. They can secrete hormones, but they do secrete other things. We are not going to be covering the endocrine system this year, but just know that that is a type of gland. Exocrine glands are the ones that we think of when we're thinking of glands. Some of you guys thought that sweat was part of the endocrine system, allowing for our bodies to cool down. The sweat glands are controlled in a different way than the endocrine glands. They are considered to be exocrine glands because they do have a duct. They secrete their products onto a body surface or in a cavity. So you can see the examples. They're mucus glands, sweat glands, oil or salivary glands. And we do have one very important unicellular gland that we talked about in some of the epithelial type of tissues, called the goblet cell. It's a unicellular gland, meaning that it is only made up of one gland, but it does produce the mucus, so the cilia can move that mucus across the tissue. There are multicellular exocrine glands also, and they are going to be categorized on their modes of secretion. A merocrine gland produces whatever it's going to produce, and it is secreted by exocytosis. So that is where a vesicle is going to take something out of the cell and spew it onto the other side of the cell membrane. There's also a holocrine gland where the products are secreted by the rupture of the cell itself. So when we're talking about holocrine glands, the whole cell is going to be lost when it secretes its products. And an apocrine gland is just when part of the cell and cytoplasm is lost. So we're not losing the entire cell, but we're losing part of the cell to the secretion.